My wife confessed she needed space after 8 years of marriage. 3 months later, I found her wedding registry with another man already live. I confronted her family at the bridal shower. But the moment I dropped my final surprise left the entire room in silence. You know what nobody really prepares you for? It's not the screaming matches or the big dramatic fights you see in movies. Nah, it's the slow burn, the tiny shifts, the nights where you're lying next to someone and feel like you might as well be on opposite sides of the planet. That was my marriage. For years, I kept telling myself it's just a phase. She's stressed. Work's busy. We'll bounce back. You start minimizing stuff, brushing off her phone always being flipped screen down, the random work dinners she never mentioned, the distance growing in every conversation. And honestly, I was stupid enough to think that giving her space would fix it. Spoiler, it didn't. 3 months into her so-called break, I'm sitting on my couch scrolling like a damn fool and there it is, her wedding registry. Full-on registry. Another man's name. Color-coded guest list. Honeymoon fund. She was planning a whole new life while still wearing my ring. And that hit different. Not just because of what she did, but how easy she made it look, like I was never part of the plan, just some temporary ATM she got bored of. Quick side note before we get into how it all blew up, if you're watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow and keeps these stories coming. Appreciate you. Now let's get into how I completely flipped her bridal shower upside down. You know what messed me up the most? Not even the fact she was planning a whole damn wedding while still legally tied to me. It was how casual she was about it. Like this wasn't betrayal, it was just life moving forward, her words, by the way. Life moving forward. Yeah, forward right into some other dude's arms while I was still paying the mortgage on the house she was packing her boxes in. The part that really started ringing alarm bells was how her family acted during this break. They got real quiet around me. Her mom suddenly stopped texting me those random thinking of you messages. Her sister, who used to call me for every little thing, radio silence. Like they all knew. And me? I was still in full, maybe we can work through this mode. I was that guy. The guy trying to fix a marriage that was already in someone else's rearview mirror. What finally snapped it was that damn registry. I wasn't even looking for it, it popped up because of mutual friends. I see her full name, his name, matching bath towels, honeymoon fund, destination wedding plans. All of it. While I was sitting there like some idiot holding on to hope. And the kicker? Registry date said it was created 2 months ago. 2. Meaning while I was still taking her calls, still giving her space, still thinking maybe therapy would help, she was already out. Already done. Already planning version 2.0 of her life. And at that point, something inside me just flipped. I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I wasn't confused. I was done. Fully done. And if she thought I was gonna just sit back while she paraded this circus around like nothing happened? Nah. She underestimated who she was playing with. Looking back, I probably should have seen it coming. Not because there were giant red flags flying around, no. It was death by 1,000 cuts. Little stuff you don't think twice about at first, but it builds. Like how every damn decision somehow started revolving around her. Where we lived. Her choice. What car we bought. What restaurant we went to. Where we vacationed. All her. And me? I just kept telling myself, happy wife, happy life, right? Yeah. That one aged like milk. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't some pushover. I worked my ass off. Paid bills, stacked savings, even started setting up some investments for both of us. I wasn't throwing money at luxury handbags or designer crap, I was thinking long game. Retirement, security, building something real. She was building too. Just not with me, apparently. The dynamic really started shifting about 2 years before everything blew up. She suddenly needed personal growth space. Started spending weekends with her girlfriends more often. Signed up for some networking retreats, whatever that means, that somehow always happened out of state. And every time I'd ask simple questions, she'd hit me with that passive-aggressive tone, why don't you trust me? That manipulation hits different when you hear it for the 100th time. And me? Like an idiot, I kept backing off. I thought being supportive meant shutting up. Spoiler, it doesn't. It just means you're giving someone more rope to hang you with. Honestly, the way her family played into it too, that was a whole separate game. They loved me as long as I was the guy signing checks. Once the cracks started showing, they got real distant real fast. Suddenly it was all, you know, she's under a lot of pressure, or maybe you're being too rigid. Right? Because wanting honesty apparently makes you controlling now. But sure, let's blame me for noticing my wife turning into a total stranger. And you know what really messes with your head? It's not the blowout fights or some huge betrayal up front. It's how damn normal everything still looked on the surface. Bills kept getting paid, house stayed clean, we still showed up for the family barbecues like the perfect couple. She still kissed me goodbye in the mornings. Still sent me random texts like, love you babe, during the day. Like everything was fine. But deep down, the air in the house started to feel heavier. That kind of silent tension you can't really explain unless you've lived it. You're sitting on the same couch, 5 feet apart, watching the same movie, but it feels like you're on opposite planets. And I kept convincing myself it was just a rough patch. That's the sick part. You don't want to believe the person you married is already mentally packing their bags. So you make excuses for both of you. Long work hours, stress, burnout, whatever helps you sleep. But the little cracks kept growing. She started locking her phone more often. Password changes. Face down on the table, you know that move. Late night Zoom meetings that sounded like she was talking to one person the whole time. And if I even so much as raised an eyebrow, I'd get hit with the full gaslight package. Wow, so now you're spying on me? Like seriously? I'm sitting right there while you're whispering into your AirPods at 11 p.m. and I'm the crazy one for noticing? Alright, cool. Whatever helps you sleep at night. And yeah, maybe part of me knew. But when you've invested 8 years into something, built a whole life, built your whole damn identity around us, it's not easy to just flip that switch. You keep hoping you're wrong. That's what keeps you stuck. Hope. Hope is the biggest scam of all sometimes. The real unraveling started about 2 months before everything blew up. And trust me, it wasn't some Netflix drama moment where I stumbled across steamy texts or lipstick on a shirt. No, man. It was slower, pettier, almost surgical. Like death by 1,000 paper cuts. First thing that really hit? She stopped talking about the future. And I don't mean kids or house upgrades, I mean simple stuff. Vacations, plans for the holidays, hell, even what we're doing next weekend. Everything was I don't know or let's just see. And bro, if you're married, you know women live for planning stuff ahead. So when that dried up, red flag. Then came the separate finances talk. Out of nowhere. She hits me with, hey, I think it'd be healthier if we each controlled our own accounts, you know, just for independence. Independence. After 8 years of joint everything. After we literally merged our damn Spotify. And I'm supposed to smile and say, sure, babe, sounds great. Honestly, I agreed. Because I didn't want to look insecure. That's how you get sucked in. You keep trying to play the cool, trusting husband while your gut's screaming that something's off. Meanwhile, she's pulling cash from our savings for emergencies that never seem to happen. What emergencies, exactly? New shoes? Spa weekends with her coworkers? Right? But again, I kept swallowing it. Told myself maybe she's just going through a phase. Work's been rough on her. Maybe she needs space. Space. The biggest BS word people throw around when they're already halfway out the door. Then came the late nights. The work events she conveniently forgot to mention until the day of. The gym sessions that somehow required full makeup and curled hair. And look, I'm not that guy who tracks my wife's phone or stalks her social media. But when the patterns change, you feel it. You don't need an app to know your marriage's temperature dropped. My breaking point though? One night, I come home after pulling a late shift. She's not there. Car's gone. No text. No missed call. Just dead silence. It's midnight, man. I'm pacing like a lunatic, trying not to blow up her phone because God forbid I overreact. She finally strolls in around 1:30 a.m. No apology. Just this casual, oh, you're up? Like, yeah, of course I'm up. My wife disappeared for 6 hours and ghosts me, but sure, I'm the weirdo. And when I calmly ask where she was, she throws out this half-assed drinks after yoga. Yoga, right? Because nothing says downward dog like tequila shots at 1 a.m. with your trainer. And you know what's worse than being lied to? When they lie badly. When they don't even try to make it believable anymore. That's when I knew. She was done. She just didn't have the balls to end it clean. So yeah, that's where my head was at. Walking around every day, pretending we're fine, while watching my marriage rot from the inside out. The part that really started gnawing at me though? It wasn't even the lies themselves. It was how casual she got about them. Like she stopped even pretending to respect my intelligence. You know the feeling when someone looks you dead in the eye, feeds you some half-baked story, and you're just standing there thinking, you seriously think I'm that dumb? That's where I was, man. Every damn day. And here's the kicker, once they realize you're not blowing up, they get bolder. It's like they mistake your patience for weakness. One Saturday she says she's heading to visit her mom. Cool. No problem. Her mom's like 30 minutes away. Simple, right? Bro, she was gone for 9 hours. And when I asked why her phone was off half the day, she throws out bad reception at mom's. Bad reception? In a suburban house? In 2025? Spare me. But whatever. I just nodded, went and cut the grass because I needed something to physically do so I wouldn't lose my mind. That's when the paranoia really kicked in. Not like the crazy jealous type, I'm not scrolling her socials like some high school boyfriend. It's just, your brain starts running all these calculations you never thought you'd need to. Like when did the gym become every night? Why does she suddenly need a new wardrobe for meetings? And how come her coworkers now got names I've never even heard before? That's the kind of stuff that keeps you awake at 2 a.m., staring at your own ceiling, realizing you're being played but still trying to convince yourself you're overthinking. I started noticing little purchases on our joint card too. Boutique hotel charges. Dinners that sure as hell weren't for one. And she always had some ready excuse. Oh, it's a business thing, my boss covered it, but they accidentally charged my card. Sure. Because that happens every week apparently. And I know what some people might say, why didn't you just confront her? Why not hire a PI? Man, listen. When you're married that long, you're not trying to prove she's guilty. You're praying she's not. There's a huge difference. You don't want to catch her, you want her to give you something to hold onto. Some chance to fix it before it all caves in. But she wasn't giving me anything except distance and BS. And that distance? It turned into a canyon real fast. We started sleeping like roommates. Barely talking. Every conversation felt like a job interview. Safe topics only. Weather. Groceries. Her work. Nothing real. And when you live like that long enough, you start realizing you're just background noise. She was building her exit while keeping me around as a backup plan. Safety net. That's when I finally pulled the credit report. I hadn't checked it in months, no reason to, right? Well, turns out she opened 2 credit lines under both our names. Quietly. Without even mentioning it. Jewelry stores, bridal boutiques. And that was it for me. That's when the bottom dropped out. You don't accidentally open wedding registries and jewelry accounts while you're working on your marriage. That's when the reality hit me full force. She wasn't lost, she wasn't confused, she was already gone. She was just waiting for the right moment to make it official. And I was standing here funding the whole damn thing. That night, after I saw those credit pulls, I sat in my car outside our house for probably 2 hours. Just sitting there, engine off, lights out, phone in my hand, but I couldn't even scroll. You ever get to that place where your brain's fried but still won't shut up? That was me. Not even angry yet. Just that cold, dead calm where you know the storm's coming but you're too damn tired to get up. Honestly, I already knew the truth before I saw the registry. But seeing it? Yeah, that flipped the switch. I wasn't dealing with someone who was lost or confused. She was building a whole new life while I was out here paying the damn bills. The registry was public too. That's what really hit me sideways. She didn't even bother hiding it. She made it live. Like, we had friends in common who could see it. My name wasn't anywhere near it. Some other dude was listed. Let me tell you, seeing her new fiancé's name right there on the top of the page? That'll mess with your head. You read something like his and her stemless wine glass set and suddenly you're the one who feels like you're losing your grip on reality. Like you're the crazy one. And what pissed me off even more was how neat and organized it all was. Planned down to the last damn towel set. They were picking out colors for a house that hadn't even been burned down yet. My house. My marriage. My entire life she was still technically living in. So I screenshotted the whole thing. Every single item. I didn't react that night. Didn't go in the house screaming or flipping tables. That's the version she probably wanted. Get me to act like some unstable jealous husband so she could justify everything later. Nah. I played it cold. Calculated. She walked in a few hours later like nothing was wrong. Sat down on the couch scrolling TikTok like her world wasn't about to explode. And I just watched her for a while. Observed her. You know when you finally see someone for who they really are? That moment when all the blind loyalty just dies? That was it for me. She wasn't my wife anymore. She was just someone renting space in my house while she plotted her exit. At some point she looked over at me, gave me this fake little smile, and said, "You good?" Like she genuinely thought I was still in the fog. And I smiled right back. Said, "Yeah, all good. Because trust me, you don't swing while you're still loading the gun. You wait until everything's lined up." And that's exactly what I was doing. Lining it up. Over the next 2 weeks, I prepped my move like I was closing a damn business deal. Quiet. Controlled. I got my own bank account separated. Checked every joint card for hidden charges. Pulled my name off anything she might try to drag me into financially. I even preemptively froze my credit. No more surprises. Meanwhile, she kept playing house like nothing was happening. Kept asking me if I wanted to book that vacation we'd talked about. Kept making small talk. Like she was just killing time until her new setup was finalized. She thought she was playing me. But what she didn't know, I was already ahead of her now. And I wasn't done stacking my hand. The more I watched her playing this little game, the more it stopped being about heartbreak and started feeling like business. Cold, tactical. Honestly, emotions were already burned out. All that was left was execution. You ever reach that place where you're not even sad anymore? You just want clean edges. No drama. Just facts. So while she was over there texting God knows who shopping for her future home, I was meeting with an attorney. Yeah. Pulled the trigger real quiet. My buddy from college hooked me up with a guy who's handled enough divorce cases to know exactly how these backstabbings play out. We sat down, laid everything on the table. I showed him the registry, the credit pulls, my bank moves. The man didn't even flinch. Just nodded and said, "You're smart to come now. Most guys wait until it's too late." That's when I knew I was locking this down. No more playing defense. In the meantime, I kept up my part. Smiling. Eating dinners. Pretending to check flight prices while she scrolled through Instagram like nothing was off. Every time she'd casually mention our future or ask about my schedule next month, I just filed it away. She was still building her alibi. And honestly, that part almost made me laugh. The level of confidence she had, walking around like she was the puppet master while I was sitting there with a file folder of evidence already stacking up in my Dropbox. There was one night that really hit it for me. We were having dinner with some of her friends, her little bridal party crew, if you want to call them that. One of them made a toast, all cute and smug, saying, "To new beginnings." And she looked right at me while raising her glass. The audacity. I raised my glass too, smiled right back, and said, "Yeah, new beginnings." They had no clue. That entire table was laughing while the clock was quietly ticking behind them. What she didn't know was that by that point I had already pulled my credit report daily. My name wasn't attached to a single one of their joint accounts she was setting up with this new dude. Good for him. Let him finance the new dream house. I was out. The attorney drafted my documents fast. Faster than I expected, honestly. When you come in with this much documentation, courts don't need drama. They need receipts. And I had plenty. At the same time, I made sure to record backups of everything. Because let's be real, these situations can get dirty fast. Cloud storage, external drive, even printed copies. Old school. I wasn't about to let some convenient account hack or technical glitch wipe out my prep work. Been there, seen that move pulled on a buddy of mine, not happening here. You know what's wild? Living under the same roof with someone who's actively betraying you while you're quietly prepping the exit like a surgeon before the first cut. She had no clue. No suspicion. Still sleeping next to me every night, still asking if I wanted steak or chicken for dinner. Meanwhile, I was counting down days like a prisoner crossing tallies on a cell wall. But the real kicker? I could feel her getting bolder. Testing how far she could push. Like the deeper she fell into this fantasy life, the more invisible I became to her. She stopped even pretending to include me in plans. Conversations became one-sided. My parents booked the venue. My mom's flying out next weekend to help with the dress. Not a single we. It was always her and her new narrative. I was just, a placeholder. And honestly, that's fine. Because placeholders eventually get pulled out. And I was about done being polite about it. The thing about these people, and I mean her family, the whole circus, is that they really start believing their own fantasy. Like, they say something stupid enough times, they actually convince themselves it's reality. She fully locked into this narrative where I was just supposed to fund her little starter marriage and then politely vanish when the real husband showed up. Honestly, it's almost impressive how delusional people can get when they've got enough cheerleaders hyping them up. And her parents? Oh, they were MVPs in that department. Every phone call from her mom sounded like a weird motivational speech for gold diggers. You deserve the best, sweetheart. Don't let anyone hold you back. Ma'am, your daughter was driving MY car while texting another man from MY phone plan, but yeah, sure, I'm the problem. At one point her dad literally patted me on the back after dinner, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "You're a good stepping stone for her future." Bro, a stepping stone? That's not even an insult you can pretend to misinterpret. That's straight up cold. I smiled, nodded, finished my whiskey, and made a mental note to screenshot the venue deposit he put on MY card while I was at work. Because yeah, of course he used my card. Family discount, right? Now here's where it gets funny. She started slipping up not because she got careless, but because she got cocky. Like, full-blown, I can't get touched level of arrogance. She'd leave emails open. Wedding vendor invoices popping up in our shared inbox like spam. She even left a literal printout of a seating chart on my desk one night. For a wedding I wasn't attending. You can't make this up. I stared at that chart for like 10 minutes, not even mad. Just fascinated. Like watching a car accident in slow motion. She even had the nerve to put my name down as financial contributor. Not best man, not groomsman, financial contributor. The respect was breathtaking. Meanwhile, my lawyer? Bro was eating this up like popcorn at a bad movie. Every time I sent him more receipts, he'd just text back, "Perfect. Keep going." It got to a point where I was half tempted to ask if I could sell tickets to my own divorce proceedings. I mean, why not monetize the disaster, right? At least somebody should get paid off this circus. Now, while all this was happening, her side piece, let's call him Chad 2.0, started popping up more publicly. Suddenly, he's on her Instagram stories, soft-launching himself like he's a new iPhone model. Soft-focus beach pics. Hand-holding, no faces yet. Classic amateur hour. But I recognized his watch. Dude wore this ridiculous oversized gold thing like he was auditioning for a low-budget rap video. Subtlety clearly not his strong suit. And yeah, I made a note of every single post, every date stamp. Because receipts, my man. Always stack receipts. The bridal shower, though, that's when everything came to a head. See, they invited me. Yeah, let that sink in. They legitimately invited me. Like I was too dumb to know what was happening or too spineless to cause a scene. That's the level of delusion we're talking about. And you know what? I went. Suited up, clean shave, comb face. Walked in like it was any other Sunday brunch. Because by that point, I was fully detached. She could have stood on a table singing love songs to the dude. I was ice cold inside. But that shower? That was my stage. My last performance. And I had one final act planned. You know what's wild? Walking into that room like nothing's wrong while everyone else is playing pretend like they're not about to commit one of the dumbest group scams I've ever seen. I mean, honestly, it was almost artistic how well they were selling the illusion. The decorations, the champagne, the fake smiles, everybody was so invested in this little fairy tale they built that they forgot reality was even a thing. And me? I'm walking through it like a guy watching the last 15 minutes of a show he already knows the ending to. Her mom came up first, full fake warmth, all teeth, trying to play the doting future mother-in-law card like she didn't know I already had copies of the catering deposit she authorized using my account. Sweetheart, you really thought I wouldn't notice a $7,200 charge from Blossom Ridge Banquets? Please. Then the friends circled in, you know the type, fake, "Hey, "We're so glad you made it." Energy while side-eyeing each other like they expected me to throw a chair or something. I didn't. I smiled. Handshakes, small talk, totally calm. Because see, that's what really messes with people like this, when you're too calm. When you're not playing your assigned role as the angry ex. When you act like you've already won. That's when they start sweating. Her sister, who, by the way, was always low-key angling for my money herself, leaned in at one point and whispered like we were co-conspirators. "You're being so mature about this, it's really big of you." "Yeah. Sure. Mature." Honestly, I almost laughed right in her face. Not because it was funny, but because it was pathetic. They thought they had me boxed in. That I'd either stay quiet and take the humiliation or blow up and look like the bad guy. What they didn't prepare for was option 3, surgical, quiet, controlled destruction. The vibe started shifting about 20 minutes in. I could feel it. They kept glancing at me like, why is he so calm? Shouldn't he be angry? Shouldn't he be storming out? But I wasn't giving them that. I was saving it. Then came the toast. Oh yeah, her dad grabbed the mic like he was hosting the freaking Oscars. Starts going on about new beginnings and finding true happiness and how grateful they all were to have such supportive people in their lives. Supportive people. Bro. He really said that with a straight face. Then cherry on top, he throws me a nod mid-speech and says, "We're so thankful for everyone who's helped us along the way. Some of you have been incredibly generous." Whole room claps. I nod. Smile. Sip my drink. Because we were there. Right on the edge of the cliff. Time to push. I calmly reached into my jacket, pulled out a nice little manila folder, and set it gently on the gift table like it was just another card. Nobody really noticed at first. Until her best friend peeked over and her face went pale. That's when people started shifting in their seats. The energy changed. Her mom froze. Her dad's voice cracked for the first time all night. And my fiancé? Yeah, she was already starting to tear up and I hadn't even said a word yet. See, inside that folder? Copies of everything. The vendor contracts. The payments. The emails where she called me Plan B. Screenshots of her registry listed under a whole different last name. Full audit. And at the very top, a certified letter from my lawyer formally withdrawing from any joint financial responsibilities, along with a little note about fraud investigations that might be very interesting for the IRS to review. I didn't even have to explain it. That was the beauty. I just said, loud enough for the front table to hear, "Figured you guys might want to keep that for your records." Then I shook her dad's hand calmly, firmly looked him right in the eye and said, "No hard feelings. But you might want to call your accountant tomorrow." You know what happens when you walk away from a room like that? Silence. Heavy, uncomfortable silence that follows you like a shadow. I walked out like I was leaving a bad meeting that ran 30 minutes too long. No drama. No screaming. No throwing drinks. Just grabbed my jacket, nodded at the valet, and left them sitting in their little disaster that was about to start unraveling piece by piece. Honestly, the air outside never tasted better. Like breathing after holding it in for months. I sat in my car for a minute, engine running, just watching through the windshield while people inside were clearly panicking. You could see it, people on phones, a few of them walking out to the parking lot like they were trying to process what just went down. And me? I was just sitting there sipping my coffee because yeah, I came prepared. A few hours later, that's when the real fallout started rolling in. Her mom was the first one to text, some long, overly polite garbage like, "We should really talk about this privately for everyone's sake." Right? Now you want privacy? After you co-signed this entire circus? Nah, lady. We're way past private. Then came the calls from mutual friends, some trying to play neutral, others full on panicking, worried they were somehow implicated because they helped with the planning or vouched for her to vendors. I kept it simple, told them to talk to my lawyer if they had concerns. And yeah, most of them shut up after that. But the absolute best part? 2 days later, her father tried calling me directly. Not her father. The same man who stood there smiling while his daughter introduced me like I was some wallet with legs. His whole tone shifted now, trying to sound calm but with that edge of desperation underneath. He started with, "Listen, son, maybe we all got a little carried away here," like it was a minor misunderstanding instead of a full-blown financial scam they tried to pull on me. I let him ramble for a while, then cut in. Told him straight, "You gambled with the wrong guy's money. And now you're gonna deal with the consequences. Don't ever call this number again." Click. Blocked. Then finally, she reached out. Of course she did. Text first, a novel-length apology full of excuses. She felt trapped. She was scared to tell me. She didn't mean for it to go that far. Yeah, sure. Like wedding registries just magically build themselves while you're scared. Next came the call attempts. Then the emails. Then one night, because they always do this, she showed up at my apartment building. Standing outside like some desperate rom-com scene, mascara streaked, clutching her purse like her world just collapsed. And you know what? It had. But not because I was cruel. Because she made her choices. She stood there crying, doing that breathy, "Can we please just talk?" routine like the cameras were rolling. I let her talk. Let her get it all out while I just stood there with my arms crossed, leaning against the doorframe. After she finally ran out of excuses, she tried to flip it one last time, said I should be grateful she at least spared me from a broken marriage before the wedding. Honestly, that one almost made me laugh out loud. Like, you seriously think I should be thanking you? For stealing my money, humiliating me, and lying to everyone for months? The level of delusion was almost impressive. I told her flat, you didn't spare me. I saved myself. You're lucky I handled this quietly. And trust me, this is the last conversation we are ever gonna have. She tried to protest, but I just closed the door. Locked it. Didn't bother looking back. Since then? Radio silence. She moved in with her mom for a bit last I heard. Couple vendors are still trying to sort out unpaid deposits, and I've got a lawyer keeping an eye on any future attempts to drag my name into her mess. But honestly, I sleep great. The weight's gone. The stress? Gone. The bank account? Fully recovered. And you know what the real kicker is? The other night, I ordered takeout, cracked a beer, and watched a stupid action movie without anyone nagging me about spending too much time on the couch. That silence? It used to feel empty. Yeah? It feels like peace. Finally,